There we go. Uh, hello? Where at? There it is. Okay, polynomial long division. And first, I don't know why there's a clock here. I don't know what happened there. We're not going to worry about that one. But we're going to do long division with this stuff just to maybe jog our memory. 176 divided by 8. Remember, the dividend goes under, right? And the thing you're dividing by goes here. And you kind of just ask what fits into each number. Does 8 fit into 1? No, it doesn't. So then we have to go to 17. Does 8 fit into 17? Yes, it does. It fits in there twice, right? 8 times 2, then you do 8 times 2, so 2 eighths is 16, right? So we're going to subtract that. 1's, 7 minus 6 is 1, bring the 6 down. And now, how many times does 8 go into 16? 2 times. And then 2 times 8, or 2 eighths is 16. And so our remainder is 0. We don't have a remainder. So 176 divided by 8 equals 22. Hopefully that maybe jogs some memory there. And we're going to kind of use that to do it with polynomials. I'm not going to worry about all the words. I'm not going to worry about all the words. And here's a list of steps to do if you really want to. I think it's much easier to, you could always go back, take a picture, and look at this. Plus, I think this number 2 here is weird, how they say divide the first term and the dividend. I think it's just much easier to pay attention to what to do and to make sense of it than to memorize this. So we're just going to go straight into an example. So we have 2x cubed, all that, divided by 2x plus 3. So 2, it's a horrible 2. So 2x cubed minus 7x squared minus 17x minus 3 is the dividend that's under this. And then 2x plus 3 is the divisor. And we need to figure out what this divided by this is. Now, here's the way I'm thinking about it. So when we did this one right here, we're saying 8 goes into this how many times? Another way to say that is what times 8 is that thing? And so what I want to do is I want to get this 2x cubed to cancel when I do some subtraction, like I did subtraction over here. Oops. When I did subtraction with this one, I want that 2x cubed to go away. And so what I'm asking myself is this quantity here, 2x plus 3, times what gives me 2x cubed? And the answer is x squared, right? Because if I do x squared times 2x plus 3, x squared times 2x gets me that 2x cubed. But then I also have to do that x squared times that 3, which is going to be plus 3x squared. And then we have to subtract this, just like we did with this one. Just like we did with this one, right? We said 2 eighths is 16, so take that away, right? That's exactly what we're doing here, except now we just have variables. So we have to multiply that x squared by the 2x, which gets us the 2x cubed, and by the 3, which gets us 3x squared. And then we need to subtract that. And sometimes I like to put parentheses here, because we have to subtract this whole thing. So 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0. That's the whole point. Negative 7x cubed minus positive 3x cubed is minus 10, or I said cubed, squared, minus 10x squared. And then these also drop down. All right, now I do the same thing. 2x plus 3 times what gives me negative 10x squared? Well, 2 times, I'm going to need a negative 5, right? And then x times x gets me the x squared. So minus 5x, that's going to get me negative 5x times 2x is going to be negative 10x squared. And then negative 5x times 3 is minus 15x. And here's where I think it's really important to maybe put these parentheses here. It's minus this whole thing, so negative 10x minus negative is really adding. So really plus 10x squared is going to cancel. Then negative 17x minus a negative, so really adding 15x is going to be negative 2x minus 3. I just brought that minus 3 down. And now one last time, 2x times what gives me negative 2x? Negative 1, right? And then I'm going to get negative 1 times 2x, which is negative 2x. Negative 1 times 3, which is minus 3. And then we're subtracting that whole thing. Negative is a positive, negative is a positive. Negative 2x plus 2x is 0. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. So our remainder is 0. So this division here equals x squared minus 5x minus 1. That's polynomial long division. You just do the same thing over and over and over until you get down to nothing, right? And this makes sense, right? Because let's real quick go back and think about this. So this one here, when you say 176 divided by 8 is 22, what you're really saying also is that 8 times 22 is 176, right? If you multiply the 8. That's what division means. That's just going backwards in division. Well, here what you're saying is this thing on top, this whole thing equals these two things multiplied together. So if we have x squared minus 5x minus 1 times 2x plus 3, if that's the same thing as what's on top here, and then we divide that by 2x plus 3, well then what's left over? Those cancel, and x squared minus 5x minus 1 is left over. I'll leave that up there for a second in case anyone's getting down. Okay, we'll do one more example just to make sure we have the pattern down. So here we have 3x cubed plus 16x squared plus 8x plus 1 divided by 3x plus 1. And then for each one of these, we're just asking what multiplied by this thing here is going to get me to cancel this term. So what times 3x gets me 3x cubed, and again, x squared is going to do that. So x squared times 3x is 3x cubed. Then we're going to get a plus x squared. We subtract. They go away. We're left with 15x squared. I'm going to do this one fast, just to show that even though it might seem cumbersome, we can do it a little speedy. And then we're going to bring down 8x. Minus x squared, so minus 1x squared from 16x squared. No, because we want to get the same thing. We don't want to get negative this. We want to get the same thing and then subtract it, because we're like subtracting what we got after we put x squared in. Yeah. So yeah, we want to match this. So then what makes 3x times what matches 15x? Well, 3 times 5 gets us 15, and then x times x gets us that x squared we want. So 5x times 3x is going to get us that 15x squared. And then 5x times 1 is going to be plus 5x. We subtract, remember to subtract the whole thing. Those cancel, that's the whole point. 8x minus 5x is 3x plus 1. Oh, and hey, look at that. 3x plus 1. How do I get the 3x to match? I add 1, right? 1 times 3x is 3x, and 1 times 1 is 1. We subtract, and our remainder is 0. That's probably going to be the thing that I feel like we're going to miss the most, is getting this plus or minus 1 on the end here if it needs it, or plus or minus whatever it is, right, to get our remainder down to 0. I feel like a lot of us might see that 3x plus 1 and 3x plus 1 and be like, oh, we're done. But you need to get your remainder down to 0. And so that means that the answer of those two divided together is what's on top there, x squared plus 5x plus 1.